$100,000 a year. 6 figures. The number you spent your career chasing. Here is what nobody told you before you got there. In 2026, $100,000 buys you the life that felt like entry level in 2019. The math is about to make that very real. Let's go. For educational purposes only, not financial advice. Do your own research. Picture what 100,000 was supposed to feel like. No more that cold pull in your chest when you open the banking app on a Sunday night. No more calculating whether the bill can wait one more week. No more arriving at the register and hoping. That is what 6 figures was supposed to be. That was the promise. Here is the truth nobody tells you when you get there. Between 2019 and 2026, cumulative inflation hit around 29%. That means $100,000 in 2019 had the purchasing power of around $129,000 today. If your salary went from $100,000 in 2019 to $110,000 today, you took a real terms pay cut. You earned a raise and lost ground anyway. This is what I call the illusion gap. The distance between the number on your offer letter and the life it actually funds. And in 2026, that gap has a specific name. Inflation that your salary didn't outrun. So let's run what 100,000 actually leaves you. Federal taxes at this income level. Effective rate around 17 to 18%. That's around $17,000 gone before anything else. State tax on the national average, around $4,500. Social Security, $6,200. Medicare, $1,450. Around $29,000 gone before your actual life begins. Yeah, that number lands differently when you actually write it out. So what actually hits your account? 100,000 minus 29,000 in taxes. Around $71,000 a year, $5,900 a month. That's your real starting point. Not 100,000, 5,900. And here's where it stops feeling like 6 figures. Because 5,900 in 2026 is not what 5,900 was in 2019. Rent for a 1-bedroom in a mid-size American city. Columbus, Denver, Nashville, not New York, not San Francisco. Around $1,900 a month. In 2019, the same apartment was around $1,500. That's $400 more a month for the exact same walls. Groceries for one person, around $520, up from around $380 in 2019. Utilities, phone, internet, around $340. Car payment and insurance. Average American car payment right now, $730. Insurance, around $160. That's $890 just to get to work. The average car payment in 2019 was around $550. Health insurance, if your employer doesn't fully cover it, around $420. Everything else. Personal care, subscriptions, one dinner out, household basics, $350. Add it all up, $4,720 out, $5,900 coming in. That leaves $1,180 every single month. That's the real stack. What's actually left after the life your salary was supposed to fund. And here is the part that makes this real. In 2019, on the same salary, that number was closer to $1,600. The real stack has shrunk by over $400 a month, without your income dropping by a single cent. $1,180 every single month. No plan, no direction, just the real stack sitting there, doing nothing for anyone. But here's the number. Most people at this income level never actually protect. Most people earning 100,000 in 2026 do one of two things. They assume the salary is enough and live like it is. And the real stack disappears into the illusion gap. Or they face it directly. They protect the real stack and put it to work. The difference between those two decisions compounds every year. $1,180 a month into a broad market index fund. The market has averaged around 10% annually over the long term. Not a guarantee, a historical benchmark in 10 years. Around $228,000 in 20 years. Around $930,000. Call it $1 million. Say that again. $1 million. $1,180 a month, 20 years. $1 million. The real stack can still build it. Most people just never protect it long enough to find out. $100,000 in 2026 is supposed to mean options, a deposit building, a retirement account growing, a decision made from choice, not from necessity. Here's what it actually feels like for most people who never run these numbers. They earn more than they ever have. And they feel more financially stretched than they ever have. That is not weakness. That is 29% inflation hitting a salary that moved 12. In 2019, the average starting salary for a college graduate was around $51,000. That same lifestyle in 2026 costs around $66,000 to maintain. Your $100,000 salary buys you roughly the same margin above the entry-level experience as someone $65,000 spent in 2019. 6 figures. Entry-level feeling. That is the illusion gap in full effect. Nobody sits you down and explains that your raise didn't outrun the cost existing. That's not your failure. That's the gap. And here is what that gap costs you in real terms. Every year you go without understanding this. Math is a year your real stack quietly shrinks. Not because you spent more, because everything around you costs more. And that gap compounds in the wrong direction while you're not looking. Here's the number. That is $400 a month, silently removed from your real stack, every single month, without a single bad decision on your part. $400 every month, gone. Over 10 years, that is $48,000. Not from poor choices, from a gap nobody showed you existed. That's not a spending problem. That's a system problem. And there is a path through it. Everything we just calculated rests on one assumption. The assumption that the real stack stays at $1,180 forever. That the salary never grows. That the illusion gap keeps winning. And this is where everything flips. The ceiling isn't the inflation rate, the ceiling is the decision. And that decision is yours right now. Here's what most people earning 100,000 in 2026 never get told. The illusion gap is not inevitable, it's just never explained. Nobody at your employer, your bank, or the system has a reason to surface this math for you. They're not hiding it. They just don't have a reason to show it. PAYGRADE does. Upgrade path 1. Make the real stack inflation proof. No career change. No side hustle. No risk. Just redirecting what's already there. Max out your retirement account contribution first. Whatever the current annual limit is, it's higher than most people realize. Every dollar going in reduces your taxable income right now. At this income level, that tax saving alone puts $4,000 to $5,000 back in your account every year. money inflation was quietly eroding, redirected to your future. That pushes your effective monthly investing power past $1,500. Same salary, smarter structure. At $1,500 a month invested consistently over 20 years, that's over $1 million, not from a raise, from a redirect. Upgrade path 2. Outrun inflation deliberately. The gap between $100,000 and $120,000 is $20,000 more a year. That adds around $1,200 net dollars a month to your real stack. One move, one negotiation, one credential. Your real stack goes from 1,180 to over 2,300. Remember that $1,180 we kept coming back to. Here's what happens when both decisions stack. $2 million in 20 years from a salary you already have. At that level, investing consistently, freedom moves inside 15 years, not 65, not even 55. 15 years from the decision. But before we go, there's one thing I didn't factor in. The city you live in changes everything. 100,000 in Memphis is a completely different real stack from 100,000 in Austin. Different rent, different tax burden, different illusion gap. In the right city, that 1,180 becomes over 2,000. Same salary, completely different life. That's city by city breakdown. That's a whole separate video. And that's exactly where we're going next. Either your real stack works for you while you sleep, or inflation decides what your money does. Either you close the illusion gap, or it keeps closing around you. That's what PAYGRADE is here for. PAYGRADE. Know your worth. $100,000 in 2026 is not what it was, but it can still build something real. You just needed someone to run the actual numbers. That's exactly what we do here. Before you go, do me one favor. Drop your job in the comments below. Just the job title. That's it. The jobs requested most go straight to the top of the list. Your video could be next. See you Tuesday.